What does The Weeknd's name and his mysterious image hide? How come Bella Hadid is so important to his fans? And why did the Grammy snub him right before the Super Bowl show? Hi, I'm Janet. Let's dig into the most intriguing pop star of the decade, getting high and selling songs. Born Abel Tesfaye, The Weeknd is from Toronto, where his family immigrated to from Ethiopia. His father left them when his son was 2 years old. The future star would say, "I saw him vaguely when I was 6, and then again when I was 11 or 12, and he had a new family and kids. I'm sure he's a great guy. I never judged him. He wasn't abusive, he wasn't an alcoholic, he wasn't an asshole. He just wasn't there." Abel was raised by his mother and granny, and was inspired by the music he heard at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and that of Michael Jackson. The star confessed he started smoking pot at 11 and quickly moved on to the wide spectrum of heavier substances. Tesfaye remembered that his first sexual experience during those drug-inflicted foggy days was horrible. Doesn't it make you think of his lyrics now? Further on, he would use those to get over a writer's block. At 17, Abel dropped out of school. "In my head, I still have this insecurity when I'm talking to someone educated. I don't want them looking at me like this retard. No disrespect." He would go on to solve crossword puzzles to help his vocabulary, though. The teenager left the suburbs of Toronto to settle downtown with his friends in an old house. According to the artist, it was then that he came up with his stage name, saying it's tied to the story of him leaving home one weekend and never coming back. The Weeknd remembers those days as one of the best in his life, when he and his friends broke out from their parents' control and just roamed the city, spending money on parties, ladies, and drugs. The young singer earned a living by selling his songs. He then posted some on his YouTube channel, and soon enough, the content was shared online by the manager of another Canadian artist, Drake. At that point, things started rolling for The Weeknd, and haven't stopped since. Mystery, success, and Bella Hadid. From the very start, mystery was The Weeknd's thing. The first songs the artist posted made everybody want to find out who was behind the moniker, and if it was him, her, or them. So when the guy announced his first ever live performance a week ahead of the show and said you could only buy tickets in person at a specified shoe store, it was sold out, and the crowd sang all the lyrics. There were no cameras or media allowed at the show. There wasn't even a guest list. The Weeknd didn't show his face on the covers of his first releases, but he appeared in Drake's shows and even sold him a bunch of his songs. He went on sold-out tours and rocked it at huge festivals, gaining praise from Katy Perry and Florence Welch for performing MJ's Dirty Diana cover. People were already recognizing who the underground R&B sensation was, but Tesfaye still avoided media attention, preferring to interact with his audience through Twitter. "I wasn't in shape. I wasn't a pretty boy. I was awkward as fuck. I didn't like the way I looked in pictures. When I saw myself on a digital camera, it was like, eesh." The mystery he shrouded his persona with was dictated by insecurities, but eventually it turned into a winning tactic. We live in an era when everything is so excessive. I think it's refreshing for everybody to be like, "Who the f is this guy?" I think that's why my career is going to be so long, because I haven't given people everything. Only a decade later would he feel like he broke out of his shell and like his career had just started. But back to the foothills. The young prodigy toured a lot, releasing some really good music along the way. He warmed up Justin Timberlake's shows, got an Oscar nomination for the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, and
finally on SNL.
he sang with Ariana Grande and Kanye West, and dropped collabs with massive stars like Daft Punk, Lana Del Rey, and Kendrick Lamar. The Weeknd also used his music to honor his two most resonant love relationships so far, with model Bella Hadid and singer and actress Selena Gomez. In My Dear Melancholy, the artist mostly concentrated on Selena, which earned her the label of The Weeknd's muse. The two singers dated for about 10 months, appearing in public or traveling together and popping up frequently on each other's Instagram accounts. In this pic, you can see Gomez whispering "I love you" into her boyfriend's ear, overheard by the media. When Gomez had a kidney transplant, Tesfaye rearranged his tour plans to stay beside his girlfriend in her time of need. Then the couple moved in together, only to separate a month later. Shortly after, Gomez was spotted hanging out with her on and off ex, Justin Bieber, but The Weeknd was already okay with that. As for his romance with Bella Hadid, it seems much more profound, judging by the way they've been on and off for nearly 6 years. What first started out as planned plans for a collaboration escalated into holding hands in public pretty fast and full-on into dates. The Weeknd admired how close his girlfriend was with her family, as well as her genuine hardworking nature. Hadid said she cherished her boyfriend just for the man he was. "I'm dating Abel. I don't see him as the Weeknd. I'm proud of the Weeknd and the music he makes, but I really love Abel." At times, when the couple split due to their disparate working schedules, they remained best friends and really supportive of each other. Although the romance that flared between Tesfaye and Gomez, somewhere in the middle, made Hadid so mad she unfollowed Selena on Instagram. But when Abel and Bella got back together, their love seemed to only get stronger. So now, even when the two retain their single statuses and just keep in touch, sources close to them can't help but notice their bond, and fans refuse to believe they've split for good. Actually, the Weeknd's admirers read messages to Hadid in the lyrics of the latest After Hours album. They believe that Hadid inspired a great deal of the best of his records so far, which they are really grateful for. So, who's the muse now? And why is After Hours such a big deal in the pop world today? Bandages, the Super Bowl, and the Grammys. The Weeknd released After Hours on the verge of the 2020 pandemic, not caring about the risk of streaming numbers decreasing. Eventually, the album release turned out not to be just a compilation of songs, but a full audio-visual story of a self-destructive character in a red jacket that the artist's been telling for a whole year via music videos and stage appearances. It started with him having a really bad night in the Blinding Lights video when we saw Abel with a broken nose. Then he appeared with his face fully wrapped in bandages at the American Music Awards, like a person who just had plastic surgery. And then the Save Your Tears video made it look like that's exactly what happened. Around that time, it was announced that The Weeknd would headline the Super Bowl halftime show, a great honor only the best of the best artists in America are given. And when his new Super Bowl ad dropped, the guy looked absolutely normal, completely confused. People started bombarding the internet with chatter, memes, and questions about what it was all about. And did those bandages mean anything at all? Finally, the mysterious Weeknd cracked. Are you ready for this? The significance of the entire head bandages is reflecting on the absurd culture of Hollywood celebrity and people manipulating themselves for superficial reasons to please and be validated. The bandages did appear in his Super Bowl performance as part of his character's journey, covering the protection masks of his army of dancers. Despite the restrictions the artist faced due to the pandemic, his show with themed decorations, costumes, lights, a choir, violinists, a marching band, fireworks, and the playfield-turned stage was incredible. The show's organizers usually cover all production costs, but the singer put up $7 million of his own money to make this halftime show be what he envisioned. Breaking another Super Bowl tradition, he didn't invite any guest stars to join him. There wasn't any room to fit it in the narrative and the story I was telling in the performance. Though it was important for him to finish the year-long story, Abel wanted the show to remain family-friendly, paying respect to all the viewers at home. Gotta say, previously, the brutality of the storyline didn't stop the TikTok users from making Blinding Lights the core of the most family-friendly challenge ever and the most popular dance challenge of the year. The whole world thought that the chart-topping song would get a Grammy or two. In fact, everybody thought the entire After Hours album would lead the 2021 Grammy Awards in several top categories. But not a single nomination came. Abel Tesfaye, who already owns 3 Grammys for his previous works, was baffled by the snub, stating on Twitter that the awards are corrupt. The star explained, "I use a sucker punch as an analogy because it just kind of hit me out of nowhere. I just wanted answers like, what happened? People told me I was going to get nominated. The world told me, like, this is it. This is your year." We were all very confused. Several artists sided with the Weeknd's comments, including Sir Elton John, who wrote on Instagram, "In my humble opinion, Blinding Lights is the song of the year." The musician, whose 1970s classic, Your Song, is sampled on After Hours, tagged his post, #Grammy Snub. So why? There were prolonged and contentious talks over the Weeknd's potential performances at the Super Bowl and the Grammys, which took place within a week of each other. Reportedly, a decision was eventually made that he would perform at both events, but the Grammys then snubbed him with 0 nominations. In his statement, the Grammy CEO said he empathized with the Weeknd's feelings and praised his music, but there are fewer nominations than the number of deserving artists. Putting out that vague, sorry not sorry, he added that the voting ended before the Weeknd's performance at the Super Bowl was announced, so in no way could it have affected the nomination process. Yeah, anyhow, the Weeknd clarified his stance before the Super Bowl show. "Look, I personally don't care anymore. I have 3 Grammys, which mean nothing to me now, obviously. I suck at giving speeches anyway. Forget award shows. shows. And then he pulled it off excellently, proving how badly the Grammys dropped the ball by snubbing him in the 2021 nominations. The Weeknd has just released his second greatest hits compilation, The Highlights. The artist, who considers himself a workaholic, is most definitely working on something new already. And it looks like the lack of Grammys is hardly stopping this powerful engine anytime soon. While we are waiting on his new tracks, check out our video about the Weeknd Super Bowl performance. Click here and stay awesome.